Hey, everybody. Welcome to another incredible, amazing edition of my podcast, In the Moment. There's very few times I am very bewildered and humbled by people that I meet. And I'm so lucky to have this incredible guest. Her name is Rachel Lamont. She is an amazing person. I've been reading about her, but she's also the winner of Survivor 47. And I couldn't be more humbled by having her here. So thank you very much, Rachel. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Such a gracious intro. And for all the people you know, I am shocked that you are, as speechless as you are. I feel like I'm just a normal girl just navigating the world.
I get it. Well, let me just start off because the amazing thing is there's a few things in my life that I know very well. I am a diehard Prince fan. This is just a portion of it. I'm a diehard Golden State Warriors fan, and I'm also a Survivor fan. I mean, these are the things that I just kind of instinctually know. And your story in your season was awesome. And I think what led me to you is not only do I like the show, but I just discovered the On Fire podcast recently.
Mm.
And I was listening to you as a guest host. And I'm like, wow, that's real. And I really like so much that you had to say. And so I want to definitely talk about Survivor and you and all that. But tell us a little bit about you. I know you're a graphic designer. I believe you're in Michigan. So can you tell us a little bit about that? And are you still doing graphic design?
Yeah, I am still in Michigan. I live in Metro Detroit and with my husband and my dog. And I am a graphic designer. I went to school in Detroit, to art school, College for Creative Studies, and I worked in mostly advertising and art direction for most of my career.
Hmm.
And uh, post Survivor,
Yeah.
I've been working at General Motors
Hmm.
and really felt sort of stagnant and didn't really
Right.
know what I wanted to do. And I got an opportunity from kind of like an acquaintance of mine to explore designing some puzzles.
Yes.
And so I ended up quitting my job and co-founding a puzzle business
Yes.
and releasing a puzzle board game
Hmm.
this past fall on
Yeah.
Kickstarter. It was a great success, and we are in manufacturing now. And now we're literally this week we've been planning what we're
Okay.
doing this year, what game was coming, we're doing next. So lots of like fun things on the horizon, and it's been so
Hmm.
fun and fulfilling
Good.
to use my
Hmm.
design skills in a
Right.
way that really calls to me and my
Hmm.
interests. I was
Nice.
working in user experience design at General Motors, and while that's cool, I'm not a big car person.
Right.
I'm not, and so just just being able to like kind of realize that my skills and my
Hmm.
career could pivot to this type of work that I find so interesting and so fun
Nice.
has been just really, really awesome and like the coolest thing that's happened, outside of winning Survivor.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, we're going to get at that because I did see, and I was going to talk about Puzzle Hungry. That is the name
Yes.
of the game. I
Yes.
actually signed up. I'm one of the believers when
Oh,
you first announced it.
thank you.
And I think that's really cool because, again, I think you're being creative and doing something you love. And now this opportunity has opened up probably new avenues for you in that realm.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I
Mhm.
mean, I think that uh I we would not have had the success with Puzzle Hungry
Right.
without the Survivor fan
Yeah.
base, behind me. Like there's just
Mhm.
there's no question there,
Right.
And so, yeah, not only did Survivor, award me the financial
Mhm.
basis to be able to say, like, I'm going to take a big risk and quit
Right.
my day job, and try to become an entrepreneur, but
Mhm.
it also gives me a community that trusts
Mhm.
in me and
Right.
believes in me in a way that, a lot of people don't have. And that's like a huge
Yeah.
privilege and a really, really cool part of
Mhm.
being on the other side of the Survivor experience.
Yeah. I think if I read correctly, I think you guys got funded like in 48 hours or something crazy. Was that
Yeah, it
right?
was under 36. I think it was just over, I think it was like
Yeah.
50 something. I wish it was under 48 because it'd be a lot catchier that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, under 3 days.
Nice. Well, I think that's such a great opportunity. And again, I did sign up, so I think I'm sure I'll be getting mine at some point.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
well, okay, that's the thing because one of the attributes that you had is you were like the puzzle master. And if any
Hmm.
of you out there who have not seen Survivor, I please watch. It's a great show. It really is fulfilling. But also season 47. what Rachel did on so many levels, she, I would say, is the puzzle master. And there's so many levels to what you did. So first off, what inspired you to apply and what was that process like?
Yeah, I mean, I had never seen Survivor. I
Wow.
was 27. This is in 2017. And my husband, at the time, my boyfriend,
Yeah.
just put it on TV. And he's like, my daddy loves this show. And I
Oh
was like,
my
heard of
gosh.
that. And it was Token Jeans. Actually, we were just talking about Token Jeans, so it's crazy.
Nice.
And I just sat down on the couch and watched the entire first episode.
Hmm.
I was like, how have I never seen this show? Like, I was immediately captured by it. And
Right.
some people watch Wheel of Fortune or Jeopardy and they're like, I
Right.
could do
Yeah.
that. And I watched Survivor and I said, I have to do that. And
Yes.
it was just so instant. And I like told Derek, I was
Uh-huh.
like, I gotta apply for this. I think I gotta do this.
Wow.
And what's so funny about that is I remember I called my sister. I was like, I'm gonna go on Survivor. She's like,
Mhm.
what? I was like, yeah, I just sent a tape in. She's like, have you heard back? I was like, no, but I'm gonna go. Like
Yeah.
I had all the faith in the world that it was
Yes.
as easy as me just raising my hand and I would get
Hmm.
to go. And in reality, it took me 7 years to get on
Wow.
the show.
Okay.
And I was actually the alternate on season 46. So I flew out to Fiji
Hmm.
with that cast and had any of the women not passed medical or quit at the last second, I would
Wow.
have played. And so I didn't. And then I was invited
Hmm.
to play actually on 47. So it was a long journey
Okay.
and it really it took a lot of perseverance. It sounds kind
Hmm.
of dumb, but in the
No.
face of repeated
Yeah.
rejection and, sometimes I'd get a call or an email and then I'd hear
Right.
nothing. And then
Okay.
some years I would hear nothing the whole time. And then, and so
Yeah.
it was this like addiction
Hmm.
to the idea that I had to do this.
Okay.
And I really just, I thought about it so much. It occupied so much of my
Right.
brain. And actually, when I got home from Survivor, one of the things that I
Hmm.
kind of had to grapple with and sort of grieve in a weird way
Right.
was the idea that the part of my brain for the better half of the last
Hmm.
decade,
Right.
when I did a puzzle, which I do all the time. I have one literally right here. It's not a video podcast, I don't think, but I'm literally doing a puzzle
Okay.
right
Well,
now.
it is a video podcast. It's both.
Oh, it is. I didn't
Oh,
know
I'm
that. I
sorry.
should have
Oh,
looked
sorry. I should
cuter.
tell you. I do video, and that's all. I also do all the audio.
That's
Sorry.
hilarious. Okay. I looked it up and I only saw like Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
That's
So
okay.
I definitely didn't know
Yeah.
that,
It's.
but
I have a
I'm glad
YouTube
that I
channel.
look okay.
You look great, and it's still Christmas
I,
trees. That's awesome.
yeah, it's not down yet. But yeah, I every time like I'd go to the gym, I'd do
Okay.
and I would always
Mhm.
kind of have it in the back of my head that I'm like,
Yeah.
this might help me on Survivor someday.
Yeah.
And then I did Survivor and I came
Hmm.
home and it was like, there's like a part of me
Yeah.
that's like missing
Hmm.
now because it doesn't ladder back to this thing that I've been dreaming about for so long.
Right.
Like I did the dream and it went so well and that's so freaking cool. But in a way,
Hmm.
I had to kind of grieve the end of that. I was sort of a
Yeah.
mess on the way home from Survivor, despite having just won. I mean, you're just kind of like messed up anyway. But in general, like I so much of what I was feeling, I
Hmm.
kept saying like, I can't believe it's over. I can't believe it's over. I can't believe it's
Wow.
over. Because I had just been
Hmm.
anticipating it for so long and dreaming about it for so long. And it all came true in the most spectacular
Yeah.
way. And yet I was very sad. It was really hard to like realize
Hmm.
that it was done. Like I had
Right.
done it.
Well, I think that's why
So
even on the On Fire podcast, you were kind of emotional on that last episode. You were saying
yeah.
goodbye again. No, wait, was that in person or was that a Zoom?
No, it was like this. Yeah.
Okay.
It's over this. Yeah.
Right.
Because Jeff's
Okay.
in like Fiji filming
Oh,
the new
always. And
season,
well,
literally
that's
like while we're
I.
doing
This
it.
is why I'm so glad I discovered the On Fire podcast because I'm learning so much more of like again. So I first started. I worked with a guy named Adam Browse, and he was a director on another show. Where he's like, "Oh, I'm on this show called Survivor." I'm like, "All right," and that was Africa season 3. It's the first time I watched. I'm like,
Hmm.
"Oh," and I watched it, and I've always been a fan. And then I kind of got caught up with work. I've forgotten about it, and then sporadically, and then kind of in the new era, I've kind of gotten back into it. But it was your season. But really, 48, and I'm only saying this because 48, when I saw Joe and Eva, that moment to this day will make me cry. I said, I got to get on. And this
Yeah.
is like you, this has been my goal. So since then, my girlfriend's like, you got to apply. And I did. And I've sent in 3 tapes so far. And the one thing I put in one of my tapes, and hopefully, and I said, you know, what I realized is by turning your submission, that's actually the first challenge. I think that's taking the
Yeah.
first step. And so I was getting bummed again. Oh, I haven't heard anything, haven't heard anything. And then Jeff tweeted the other day on, and somebody's like, oh, you know, hey, everybody for the next season, like, we don't let people know till February. And again, like you, I am just using in my mindset. So I'll show you later, but I have post-its of notes of Jeff, and I've blown up pictures of everybody, Boston, Rob, Parvati, all over my house. And my girlfriend's like, I want to take a shower without Jeff watching me. I have them everywhere. It's like, you're on Survivor. You want an immunity. And, you know, so for Christmas, she got me Flint, the game. She got me coconuts. She's like, you're going to get on. And so, like you, when I'm at the gym, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do that extra mile. And I'm
Hmm.
trying to get things because, and I realize it might take 5 or 6 years. And I don't want to
Hmm.
give up. And maybe it doesn't happen, but I love the idea of having a goal.
Hmm.
And the fact that you saw it and you manifested that is something that I'm all about. And I just love that experience. So when you got the call, because I know there's a lot of steps, you can get the call, but you got
Hmm.
to meet and do this.
Yeah.
And then I guess to be an alternate, and then that might not even happen. So can you
Yeah.
explain that a little bit?
Yeah. I mean, the alternate process is kind of a crazy one, and there's not I don't know how many alternates there have been over the
Mm,
years, but there has
right.
not always been on-site alternates for every season. And
Okay.
so, I mean, I think it's less than 100 people have
Wow. Yeah.
ever been an alternate. And prior to the new era,
Hmm.
most alternates didn't play. There was like maybe a handful that ever played again.
Wow.
And so it was a very rare thing.
Hmm.
There are a lot more alternates in the new era. They've really, I think, made an effort to
Hmm.
kind of do that and try to get not everyone from the new era has been on in a subsequent season, but like Shaheen was the alternate with
Right.
me on
Yeah.
46. And then this past season on 49, like MC and Jason were the alternates, and then they
Yeah.
ended up getting to play.
Yeah.
So and Austin on 45, he was the alternate that got to play.
Oh
So
my
like
goodness.
there
Yeah.
have been a lot
Hmm.
more of that. But that experience is really wild because you go to Fiji, you do everything else everyone else does, and nobody, I mean, the production knows, but none of the
Right.
players
For
know
sure.
that you're an alternate. And
Right.
so you're kind of just navigating that pregame time, which is, in silence. You're not allowed to communicate. There's people
Correct.
watching you.
Yeah.
And you're navigating that whole time knowing that you're probably not going to play,
Wow.
but
Yeah.
that you might
Hmm.
get called to. And I kept saying that I felt like the backup quarterback at the Super Bowl, like I was just like when it was such a kind of a mind fuck, like it's
Yeah.
just this kind of awesome and awful thing where on
Hmm.
the one hand I'm like,
Yeah.
I am on set with a season, like someone here is gonna win. It ended up
Right.
being Kenzie, like Jeff's here,
Hmm.
everyone's here. I'm getting the like behind the scenes look at the Survivor experience, like a
Yes.
super fan's dream, right? I mean,
Yeah.
short of playing, this is the coolest thing you could ever experience as a
Absolutely.
fan.
Yeah.
And almost no one gets to do it. And so on the one
Hmm.
hand, I'm just geeked to be there. On the other
Right.
hand, I'm like, what
Yeah.
if this is the only thing I get to do? What if they don't ask for me to
Hmm.
come back? And
Yeah.
so the whole time it's this like push and pull of just like, oh man, I want it even more now. And like, I'll know what I'm missing out on
Yes.
even more if I don't get it. And so, yeah, it was very tough, but I really had the mindset once again. I'm just kind of bullheaded, and that's, my
I love it.
personality in
Yeah.
life and on Survivor and everything else. But I really went in just kind of being like, my goal is to
Yeah. You're going to be on. You see it.
make them
Yeah.
see that I should be on.
Well, I remember like
And
this. Oh, sorry. I apologize.
no,
Go ahead.
no,
No,
I
it's
just
like
ended as a
Vesepia who won. She said the same thing. She had a post-it note on her computer at work, and every day she's like, "I'm going to win it. I'm going to be on it." And just like it's just that motivational. But when you said I think it took you 6 years or so, or a while. How often were you sending in tapes?
every year,
Okay.
and then a couple times I'd send into a year.
Okay.
Usually
Yeah.
like a pretty formal video, and then once in a while I would, get all like hyped up when
Yeah.
Jeff was talking to us about applying, and I'll be like, you know what? And I'll just do
Yeah.
like a really quick kind of
Yeah.
ad hoc one.
Okay.
So yeah.
And this is why I love my girlfriend. She's my biggest fan, and she's like, "You're gonna." And when we talk, it's so funny. Like, we'll watch it, and she's always like, "Okay, so what are you gonna do? Are you gonna do this? How are you gonna react to that?" And blah 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 blah. And she's like, are you going to cry? Are you going to show your emotions, or how are you going to be? And I'm like, and I love that she's always pumping me up. And right now we just started the Russell season. She's, oh my gosh, I fucking hate that guy. What's going on? And I said, oh my God, he's the best villain of all time. What are you talking about? So just, but she's so into it now.
Yeah.
And, watching you again, I've seen your season before, but she just rewatched it. And I cried. And I'm a big emotional guy. And I cried when you had that last immunity with the bat puzzle. And I mean, first off,
Hmm.
everything you did was just off the walls, amazing. And I just teared up because it was such a beautiful thing to see. And I think, and again, viewers and everyone, please, if you haven't seen the season, I beg you to see it. Rachel's absolutely fantastic. You had so many trials and tribulations, and you kept, you had the shot. You were the first player to play shot in the dark in the new era. Am I right on that one?
No, no, no. I was the first person to play it in the way that I did,
Oh,
which
okay,
was kind of as like a litmus test
okay,
for whether I should play the idol I had or
right.
not. So, yeah.
Yeah, and you had advantage. You had an idol. You had so many things, and you were. And the best thing is sort of like, Jeff. The best thing about being at your funeral is like being the next day. It's just like yes, yes, yes. I love it. But there were so many moments that were beautiful, and I think another one that stood out is when you said, "Be like the ocean," and it's very much like Bruce Lee with the "be like the water," just kind of ebb and flow.
Mm.
And I think sometimes we get caught up in our own life, and I'm sure we can take experiences from watching the show or not of just ebbing and flowing. And this is why even applying, I had to get rid of that fear of just
Hmm.
doing that. Okay, I'm going to send
Hmm.
in a video. I'm going to be vulnerable. Yeah, what if they did pick me? Okay, I'm not a good swimmer. And that's fine. I have to be open to that. Am I going to be alone or fearful? And so, I live in New Mexico, and some nights the desert gets really cold. I'll stand out there with nothing on just to kind of see how. I'm like, okay, I got about 5 minutes. This is cold. I can go back in.
Yeah, I mean, I think chasing things that scare you are,
Yeah.
I think that that's the kind of the root of growth.
Hmm.
And you don't always learn something, but I feel like the times that you learn the most is usually when you've taken a risk like that
Yes.
and really gone after something. I didn't actually know how I would do on Survivor,
Hmm. Yeah.
and as much as I thought I might be good at it and I was excited to try,
Yeah.
uh, I could have I could have gone out there and done very poorly,
Yeah.
um and I think that that is scary. You
Hmm.
start you get to the point where you're like, I'm gonna do this, and maybe
Yeah.
everyone in my entire life and everyone's ever known me is gonna know that I suck at it. And like, that's a little scary,
Hmm.
especially as someone who for many years was like, I'm gonna be on Survivor. So but at the same time, it's like at that point, you've got nothing to lose, so you just gotta kick
Yeah.
ass. I
Absolutely.
think
Yeah.
that being able to kind of I worry a lot and I have a lot of anxiety, but when push comes to shove,
Hmm.
I can flip that switch. And I think that
Yeah.
that's the thing that
Hmm.
um, helps me lock in and
Hmm.
propels me. Like I
Yeah.
will never forget because the final four immunity to tie the record was amazing, but the final
Yes.
five immunity is the one I actually truly needed to win.
The one with the balls, right? With the stick and the ball?
Yes,
Yeah. Oh
and
my
if
God,
I
it's
had
crazy.
lost that challenge, I would have gone home.
Yes.
And in my head, that entire day was just like, you can change your life today.
Hmm.
Like it's entirely in your hands,
Yeah.
and you have to just do it. And
Hmm.
you can't think of anything else. You just have to lock in, and
Yeah.
it's so funny because, Detroit Metro and the the one thing I kept thinking was like, one shot, one opportunity. This is
Yeah.
your
Yeah. There you
shot.
go.
This
Yeah.
is the
Well, 8 Mile. There you
opportunity
go.
that you have to like make it all happen for
Hmm.
yourself. And so, yeah, I think that taking that fear and allowing it to wash over you
Hmm.
and harnessing it
Hmm.
as fuel
Yeah.
is truly the thing. And like, whether that, I mean, when I think about, if I never got on Survivor, and it's like, I'd go to the gym and I would think about Survivor. So what's the worst case scenario? I don't
Right.
get on Survivor, but I work out harder
Yeah.
and I puzzle harder and I like, and
Exactly.
it's just
Yeah.
like, it's all for the good of you at the
Yes.
end of the day. And if that's fuel for motivation and it makes you better,
Right.
like that's still really
Hmm.
cool. And I think that yeah, I don't know. It's so interesting to be on this side of it because I was in your shoes. I was that exact person, just being like,
Yeah.
I want it so bad. I want
Yeah.
it so
Yeah.
bad. And like I'm scared I'll never get it. And yet there's still so much good, like so much of the process of
Hmm.
getting on Survivor. It's some of the best stuff about it because it
Right.
just every year I literally started going to therapy to help myself make better audition takes. I'm not joking. I mean, that wasn't
Yeah.
the
Hmm.
straw that got me
Hmm.
there, but I told my
Right.
therapist, I was like, I need to figure myself out more so that I can make
Nice.
these tapes better.
Yeah.
And it just
Hmm.
so it propelled me to be a better person, a stronger person, a smarter person, like all for the pursuit of something that I didn't know
Hmm.
if it was ever happen, you know? And so I don't know. I just love that. And I think that there's so many people
Hmm.
out there like that. And obviously not all of us are gonna get on Survivor.
For sure.
And yet
Yeah.
if that's the motivation, that's
Mhm.
it's amazing.
I think you're so true because, again, I do the extra workout. I mean, I already eat healthy, but I have these goals and there's like mini goals. Like, okay, if I'm on Survivor, I can do this. But again, if I get on, well, when I'm on, well, it's gonna be amazing. But even if it doesn't happen, I'm still living my best life. And there's a lot of things here, even as a film producer, I would think, I didn't know I was gonna be a film producer. I ended up that way. And it's like, oh, I did that. And I'm not afraid to take risk and challenges. And I just read my friend's book, Produce Your Life, and one of the things she said, is take a big risk. So that's kind of on my vision board behind me. It's like once a week I have to take one big bold risk. And I put it out there. And so I can only put it out so much because I don't want to be a guy that sends a tape in every week. I've done, I think, like twice this year. And okay, I'm gonna let it chill and let
Yeah.
it settle. And I have to understand like there's other 1,600 or however many people as well.
Like 25,000.
Yeah, they'll
Wow.
they'll
It's
call
a
me and
lot.
we'll go from there, and that's fine. But if
Yeah.
not,
Yeah.
I'm going to continue to live my life and take those risks and take those things. But one of the things you just brought up about therapy. So when you're out there, again, we see the edited TV version. I know there's a lot of downtime, a lot of other things that are happening, and you're probably in your head. How was that emotionally for you? Like, did you feel like it was a catharsis? Like in 48, Joe had that healing process. He had to talk to his sister, who, unfortunately had an unfortunate incident. Or do you find that therapy like, okay, you know what? I'm finding myself. I can do anything now.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I think it's both. And I think it varies so much by person.
Right.
Um I've been privileged enough to not have like a horrible thing happen to me or
Right.
someone I love. I mean, my brother-in-law passed away from cancer a few years ago, and that
Sorry.
definitely came up on the island
Okay.
with some people,
Right.
and we, shared some moments together.
Mm-hmm.
But in general, I feel like my journey to Survivor was such a long one and one that had taken
Mm-hmm.
so much of like my energy to
Mm-hmm.
get there that when I was playing, I was like, look, I don't have kids. My husband is at home. He is cheering me on.
Yeah.
He wants
Nice.
nothing more than to not see me for 5 more weeks. And it gave me the freedom
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
to let home be home and
Nice.
let me be
Mm-hmm.
on Survivor.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's all of it because I don't have a different experience. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
know that the people with kids really missed their families out
Right.
there, particularly. Um, but I did feel the biggest thing to me was that I felt so present. And that was so
Yeah.
different than the
Mm-hmm.
way we navigate our lives,
Yeah.
where, you just said you came off like
Yeah.
an internet detox,
Yeah. It was great.
and that is something that the value of that, the fact that
Mm-hmm.
I came back from the experience and didn't remember how to hold my phone properly, like it was a blessing. It was a
Yeah.
blessing because
Yes.
in what context can you go 5 weeks in life and not
Mm-hmm.
touch a phone and not see a TV and
Yeah.
not like look at a mirror?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it
Yeah.
was all about just your exact self
Mm-hmm.
where you are in that moment. You don't know what
Yeah.
time it is. There's no clocks, there's no anything. And it felt like I was getting to kind of like experience what living
Mm-hmm.
100 years ago would have been like for
Yeah.
me. And that unlocked so much more. I felt like I was paying attention
Mm-hmm.
to things around me, remembering things around
Right.
me in a way that I don't in my daily life. And like those were kind of the things that I was learning that I could
Mm-hmm.
slow down, that I don't have to like be um I'm so busy. I keep such a busy schedule, and I say yes to everything. And it's just, and I have since I've gotten home, have
Mm,
said no to things,
nice. Yes.
like
Mm-hmm.
require, like set those boundaries, carved out the time so
Mm-hmm.
that I'm not running frantically at all times every day. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think I didn't have any kind of like super emotional moments out there. I'm also admittedly less of an emotional person. So I think that definitely plays into
Mm-hmm.
it. But I felt like I had so much personal growth
Mm-hmm.
despite that. It wasn't that kind of things creep to the surface that I had been hiding, because I
Right.
also have done so much work in therapy
Okay,
that I
good.
don't bottle as much. And so I didn't have anything kind of surprising me out there
Uh-huh.
with me,
Mm,
like mentally. Uh, but look, I was at the bottom a
yeah,
lot
you
and
were.
lied to and blindsided a lot. And that's not easy to deal
Mm-hmm.
with. That's
Mm-hmm.
not good feelings. And it's embarrassing and you're kind of ashamed of it
Right.
and you feel left out and alone. And I learned that I can get back up from that and continue to
Mm-hmm.
play. And my adaptability is my greatest strength. And I don't think
Nice.
I knew
Yeah.
that going out there. I think I
Yeah.
was like, I'm going to be really social and people
Yeah.
are going to listen to me and, whatever. I knew I'd be good at puzzles, but I didn't expect to be like a challenge beast who
Yeah.
had to like adapt and be super creative with all
Mm-hmm.
these things and like in order to get to the end. And um those were the things that were fun, was kind of seeing the things that I thought I'd be good at
Mm-hmm.
kind of be weaknesses, and things that I didn't expect to be good at be strengths. Um,
Nice.
yeah.
No, I think that's so fantastic because, we, again, when we're at home, we're watching and we kind of, okay, well, this person's not going to do whatever. And we're always wrong. I'm always amazed. And this is what I absolutely love about the show. It's a human show, and you see so many different people that you want to discount, and they're the ones that end up when you're taking to the end. You're like, oh my God, I didn't know they had that them in it, in themselves. And I just love it drawing that out. And I really do, and this is just me personally. I just think Jeff's a great host. I mean, I just think the guy's awesome. And what I've been realizing, what I've been liking now, I see his joy again. Because we're watching these old episodes, some of these, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can just see the difference. He's light, he's happy, and he's really in it. And I just think that really helps. And also, too, I think you guys had a great season and a great cast. But I just think that's really cool. I don't know.
Hmm.
I could be wrong, but that's just what I
Yeah,
feel.
no, he's a great
Yeah.
host. He knows how to, you know, get answers out of people,
Yeah.
and he there isn't a single cue card out there, like it's
Yes.
all
Yeah.
him. And he thinks about it. Like there
Yeah.
were times where at the end of Tribal, we would go to stop down, but then he would just say, give me a minute. And he'd
Mm-hmm.
just sit there
Mm-hmm.
and think. And
Yeah.
then he'd come up with like two or three more questions. And it
Yeah.
was like, you could tell that he was kind of like viewing it through the lens of
Mm-hmm.
what is the story here? And are we getting all of the
Right.
context we need
Mm-hmm.
to tell the story? And yeah, it's impressive. It's impressive to see
Yeah.
his passion for it.
Well, I think one of the things I learned from that podcast on Fire was just he doesn't use an earwig. And primarily I do a lot of
Yeah.
indie films and a lot of my TV stuff has been different. And I did a show recently, a reality show, and the host had an earwig. And there was 11 cameras and I was running the cameras, from the booth into my ear, and I'm barking out the order because I'm the one out on set. And so to know that he does it without that,
Hmm.
and it's like, wow, that is so awesome. And to really just be present. That's what I got from that. He was just being present. And I found that interesting. That's why I love peeling back these layers. Now we're getting more and more information. I'm like, I don't want to know everything, but it's kind of cool. But I do understand, like, when you have like 20 cameras, 100 people, and this and that, but you're focused and you're doing your thing. It's just, I find it amazing. I really
Yeah.
do. And then for all of you to know that cameras are just circling you 24 hours a day, just this, and this. And we were doing the same thing, not 24 hours, however, but we were following people, and you kind of just, that's when they want, you let your guard down, you forget, and it blends
Hmm.
in,
Yeah.
you know.
I'm
So
telling you, by like day two,
you
you just
forgot
get
to,
used to it. Well, they don't talk to you. So outside of
yeah,
just staying out of their way and them
yeah,
occasionally saying like move, it's not a there's no relationship there.
yeah,
I mean, they're very nice, but it's
yeah,
not,
yeah,
they intentionally don't try to like
for sure.
talk to you. And yeah. I think that it was awkward until you realize that the game is going to happen
Hmm.
regardless of how awkward you feel. So you
Yeah.
better
Yeah.
get moving, you
Yeah, it's part of it.
know?
And I think, and everyone's going through it. And I think too, having that idea, like you said, having those 5 or 6 weeks without a phone, all that, it's so helpful.
Hmm.
It is
Hmm.
therapeutic. Having this year off of being off of social news, I've gotten more. I read like 30 books. I've done some.
Hmm.
I actually had more time to do things and not procrastinate. And that was something I felt was just good for me. And, now when I'm on, I just kind of post very limited. I don't know. We'll see. But, every day's a journey.
Hmm.
We're still learning and growing. And that's what's great. So I have another question for you is what advice would you have for people? Um, and I think even before, but now afterwards, because obviously you've gone through something, and not only I think the winning's awesome, and that's the pinnacle, but I just think for that, like you said, that you can do it. I mean, any advice for anybody?
Um, in life or on
I think
Survivor,
in life, but
sorry.
or both. Let's say for life, and then if you want to get on Survivor, hey, here's the thing I got from you. The one thing I got from you in that podcast is the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. You mentioned that. No, seriously, I listened to everything, and
Yeah.
you said that, and I got the book, and then Jeff had mentioned once I got the Essential John Nash, which is about
Mm.
theories and meth, which I have not opened yet. But and I think you said that book wasn't. It was important, but it wasn't going to make a difference.
I think
No.
the thing is that there's like techniques that are discussed that probably one I'm sure they work, but
Mm-hmm.
I think reading a book and then going out and trying to apply it to Survivor is not it's not going to work because you're not good at it yet. You're
Yeah.
like the
Right.
baby learning the thing. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like you don't
Correct.
have
Yes.
the so if you want to read it and try to apply it to your actual everyday
Mm,
life for the next couple years, I'm
sure.
sure that
Yeah.
you would bring that into the game and it would be very useful.
Mm.
But I think that people, including myself, tried to cram a bunch of books like that right before you go out to play Survivor. And I think in reality, it just does nothing. I mean, it makes
Yeah.
you maybe feel more
Yeah.
competent, but it's not, you're not remembering like all these techniques and knowing how
Yeah.
to integrate them into casual
For sure. Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah. Well, luckily, I read
So,
a lot of that stuff. That's just kind of my jam. Like it's
mhm,
the You're a Badass or Produce Your Life or all esoteric books. I'm always reading something positive in that. So I'm all about manifestation on that. So I can just
mhm.
angel cards and crystals. I'm like, okay, how can I apply that?
What's
But
so funny about that is that like I I never really bought into manifestation,
mm,
and it's hilarious because I pretty much manifested everything that ever happened to me on
see,
Survivor.
see,
And
yes,
from start to finish. I
yeah,
mean, the last thing I wrote in
mm,
my notebook,
mm,
day one of Survivor 47,
mm,
was my 5 year anniversary with my husband. And the last thing I
nice,
wrote in my notebook was, I'm happy anniversary, babe. I'm gonna bring you the gift of $1 million. Like I truly
nice,
like
yeah,
every step of the
mm,
way it was just there. And so it's so funny, but and it's not that I had anything against manifestation. I was just like, that's a little
sure,
crunchy for me.
yeah,
It's not, it's not like kind of where I live and exist. But what I do believe now, I think, is
mm,
that manifestation changes your intentions.
mm,
It's not that I always viewed it as this like woo woo thing into the universe that will come
right,
back to me because I'm putting it out there. But
right,
what I actually believe is that when you set your mind to something like that, you
mm,
change your intentions. You change
yeah,
the intention behind your gym visit, and you
yes,
you you are changing your brain
yeah,
and your behavior,
yeah,
and that is what ultimately gets you to your goals, not speaking it into existence. And I
yeah,
think that
mm,
it's the like, yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if those are actually different things, but they feel
no,
different to me,
you
and
got to
they
do the
sit
work.
different with me.
I tell people you can't just say, okay, universe, give it to me. It's like, okay, that's cool, but you got to put in the work.
Mm-hmm.
Again, like you just have to do it. It's so funny. I was working out yesterday with my trainer, and I always bring a Batman shirt, and he's like, "Come on, Batman!" And I hit my hand. I went, "Ow!" I was like, "Batman doesn't say ow. Come on!" And I'm like, "Oh yeah." I'm like, "You're right." But it's that intention of you have to put in the work. And again, whether it's reading or just like it's for me, it works in the sense that I take big bold risk.
Mm-hmm.
We were going to France for the first time. I said, I want to write a book. I sat on the plane and I wrote a book. It was during COVID. Again, it's not a best, but it was a book for me that I wanted to get out there to people. Then I'm like, I want to do a podcast. And I've been able to get really, good, great,
Mm-hmm.
amazing guests like you. And then it's like, all right, well, I want to do this project. And then that's kind of happened. Or I want to meet with so and so. So I feel like there is something there, but you also have to put in the work. I tell when I guest speak at colleges, I said, don't sit there and wait for the phone to ring. You actually have to make the call. You have to be the one to
Mm-hmm.
go out there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of
And you
people
have to
get
believe you
lazy.
can do it. I think that
Exactly.
that's the other
Yes.
piece that,
Right.
and I think there's so much self-doubt and it plagues me too,
Yeah.
believe me. But
Hmm.
I think that there is just, you have to like have the fundamental belief that you can actually achieve the thing.
Yeah.
Like on I think it was on the show on day 26, Sam was like, how far did you actually think you guys would go
Hmm.
before you came out here? And I think Sue, I don't know, I think Sue said something, and then I said, I I wouldn't have come out here if I didn't think I could win. And that
Yeah.
is a absolute fact. Like
Yeah.
I wasn't saying it to kind of be a hard ass.
Hmm.
I meant it, because it's just you can't expect to achieve something that you never believed you could. I mean,
Absolutely.
maybe you will, maybe you'll surprise yourself, but the reality is like a lot of people believe they can do something, they still can't do it, or they can't do it the
Right.
first time.
For sure.
So it's certainly only hurting
Hmm.
you to not actually buy into what you want and what you believe you can
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I made the puzzle game, Puzzle Hungry. As much as I made it for other people, I made it for myself. I was
Well, I
like, I
think,
want
yeah.
this thing. There's no such thing as a competitive puzzle game. I want
Yeah.
to make it. I want to figure it out. I want to play it. I
Hmm.
want to own it. And if it flops, I still get to like, I'll have at least the prototype of this
Yeah.
cool game that I made, and it's very cool that it has been, pretty
Hmm.
successful. Hopefully it'll continue to be successful once we get it in people's hands. But
It will.
I think starting from the belief of things that, like you said, like I want to meet this person, I want to do this project because I
Mm.
believe in it, I'm interested in it, and I have a
Right.
passion for it, and I think I can do it.
Right.
Like that's a lot of it,
Yeah.
and maybe that doesn't turn into a career or a lucrative thing, but maybe it turns
Mm.
into your favorite hobby or like it doesn't, not everything has to be, a side hustle.
Absolutely. It can just
um,
be, it can just be for me. And what I get out
yeah,
of it,
your book.
there's
Yeah.
certain things. And, I always remember, because I always just post positive stuff. And one day I was going through a breakup. This is a long time ago. And I posted something on Facebook. And somebody called me and they go, hey, and I worked with this person one time. And she's like, hey, I just want to let you know, I actually was going to commit suicide, but I read your post and, that still like affects me today. And she goes, Michael, like you never know who's reading your stuff, so keep it up. And I'm like, well, I wasn't trying to get, I just was writing something. And that always stuck with me. Just don't change who you are as a person, but also for me, just be true. Don't give up.
Hmm.
Keep moving forward. And if something's a little bit hard, well, we're all going to hit walls, and you have to figure out,
Hmm.
is this going to define me, or am I going to learn something from and grow? I tell people I don't want to be the smartest person in the room. I want to keep growing. I want to keep learning.
Hmm.
And that's just how I have to live my life. And that's why I surround myself with, you know, trying to be as positive as I can because I don't
Hmm.
want to get caught up in the cycle of whatever despair or anything. So I want to
Yeah.
be able to sit by the fireplace with my girlfriend and play your puzzle game and have fun and all that stuff. I'm serious.
Yeah.
I can't wait to
I
get
also
it.
I feel like there's this thing, and I did a talk at like a nonprofit
Mm,
thing earlier last year, and I kind of touched on this. And I don't know if this is the actual like the right terminology. I think I still need to workshop it a little bit, but I called it like refined indifference to
mm,
the result. And I think that like you wrote that book because you wanted to put your heart into it and you wanted it for yourself,
yeah.
and you were indifferent to the outcome of what the book would become, right? And
Right.
it was all just about the passion and the you put all of the energy into it because you wanted to and not because you were trying to get something out of it, and I think that um there's something there where like if I hadn't won Survivor and if I had done everything I could and still got voted out,
Hmm.
I would still be totally okay. And I would still have had an amazing experience
Yeah.
because I know that I set up all the things right and some things swang my way and
Yeah.
it all worked out so amazingly. But like if it hadn't, that's also okay. Like I think that failure is also some of that self doubt is all about
Hmm.
like, but what if I fail? What if I fail? And it's like, it doesn't always matter. Like
Right.
everyone, first off, you're always going to fail at something at some
Yes.
point. Like everyone does.
Yeah.
But it's also just like if you did everything you could in your power and something like someone beat you, someone's better than
Hmm.
you. I couldn't help it. I did my best and I
Hmm.
wasn't the best.
Yeah.
Okay. Like what is wrong with that? You know, and I think we have such a culture of like fear
Hmm.
of failure
Right.
because failure means that you are not good
Hmm.
enough and all of these things. And it's like
Yeah.
I just think that you can get so much out of things that aren't successful.
For sure.
Um,
Hmm.
and it's not failure. It's just
Yeah.
the fact that you went on that journey and you took something from it and you
Yeah.
feel good about it. And that's enough. Like I think
Yeah.
it's hard to believe that, but
It's
I
so
yeah.
important. So I did a movie about a year ago in Portland, and on the plane, I'm literally on the plane, and so I don't know if you know the rapper Logic. I like my daughter got me into him. I like Logic, so I'm listening to him, and he's doing a podcast. Lena Waithe, the creator of The Shine, he's talking about manifestation. Right? We land. I get to Portland, and I'm visiting my daughter, and we're gonna open up the production office on Monday. This is a Friday, and I'm talking to my daughter. I'm like, oh my gosh, I love Logic. I said, I'd really love to meet him. I go to work and they go, oh, hey, you know what? We're going to be sharing production offices. This guy named Logic is coming and doing his movie. So I'm like, are you kidding me? So like we're sharing production office spaces and I got to meet him and like we're cool, we're homies now. But it's like that was so random and I was like, okay, that's when I know it works. That's that, and again, it's just like this is what excites me. This is why I'm a passionate person. So I'm like, okay, it works. The universe works, in weird ways. And
In weird ways.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And listen, a couple more questions. I know you're busy. Here's the thing. I had to start wearing glasses recently to see
Mhm.
and everything. How the hell did you keep yours clean on the show? Because there's an episode I saw.
They
You're by the
weren't. They
campfire. You're putting
weren't.
it down, and like, do they get scratched? Do you have replacements?
Oh, yeah, no. So they were scratched to shit like day
Okay.
one. Day one. I
Okay.
remember getting to camp at Gata and being like, "Are you joking?" Like there was just like a gouge right in the middle
Okay.
of the. So yes, immediately scratched, ruined. The second I got home, I called the eye doctor, asked for new glasses.
Okay.
I actually, because I'm not supposed to tell anyone on Survivor, I had to go in and I was like, my 2-year-old nephew got a hold of my glasses because I was like,
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh
how do
yeah.
I
Exactly. Yeah.
explain
Yeah.
what happened to this
Yeah.
train wreck of my
Yeah.
glasses? And they were like, oh yeah, totally get it.
Oh my gosh. Because I can't read
But
without them now. So I'm like, how the hell am I going to read an advantage or something? Like, I don't know.
yeah, so I mean, you don't get to really clean them.
Okay.
Before tribal, someone will like check on us and
Okay.
like they'll clean your glasses once a day,
Right. Right. All
basically.
right. Okay.
But yeah, it's awful. They're smeared and smudged and foggy all the time. And then I wore contacts for challenges,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
you get hand sanitizer
Okay.
and no mirror and
Yeah.
nowhere to put anything.
Okay.
So I've got like, I'm like squatting in the dirt.
Mm-hmm.
There's hand sanitizer, sure, but there's dirt caked on
Right.
my
Yeah. For
hands. It doesn't
sure.
get rid of that. And I'm like,
Mhm.
I'm gonna get pink eye on TV, and I'm trying
Yeah.
to like get a
Oh my
like
God.
a contact in my eye without a mirror.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it wasn't great. It's
But
hard.
before challenge, like again, because sometimes I see people like, if they're gonna swim or whatever, are you able to like put that stuff aside and then put them back on? Or because not everyone's wearing their stuff all the time.
The glasses?
Yeah, like people aren't gonna
Uh,
swim through the ocean with that.
yeah,
Like they'll
yeah,
take them
yeah.
off, yeah,
No,
for
that's
challenges
what I
and
mean. I
stuff.
would wear my contacts for those
Oh,
challenges.
so
I think some
you're able to swap them
people,
out. Okay.
yeah, yeah. So at camp, like essentially, there's like a med box.
Okay.
Like it would have my tampons
Okay.
and my contacts,
Right, right. Okay.
basically. And so it's off camera. Only one person can go
Right.
at a time,
Okay.
and that's where I would put my contacts in before a
Okay.
challenge if I wanted to put them in. However, if I just didn't want to, or like I couldn't get them in that day
Right.
because there's no mirror and it's hard, then I could just put my glasses down. I mean, I am not completely blind, so
Right.
I could run the challenge, especially the swimming portion,
Mm,
without my glasses on. And then usually, if there's like a station when you get back, you could just
okay.
like set them there and pick them back up. But
Right.
I think I ran at least one challenge without glasses or
Okay.
contacts. So
Nice.
yeah.
And then here's a question. So before tribal council, did Sue just take dirt and just put on her face on every tribal?
Oh, poor Sue. She texted me after and was like, "Why didn't anybody tell me?" I was like, "We didn't tell you." So yeah, I mean, Sue didn't like the water very much. So there was also
So
a
fun.
stretch on Survivor where it was extremely windy and overcast
Yeah.
for like unseasonably windy. Like we
Uh-huh.
had to like they'd change the schedule of like the boats and stuff because it was so windy that it
Oh
was
my
like
gosh.
treacherous.
Yeah.
So no one wanted to get in the water to wash off because
Yeah.
it was freezing and like you would be freezing, you'd be wet, you wouldn't
Yeah.
dry, the sun wasn't out. So you just avoided the water at all costs. But most of us would still kind of like splash our
Well, that's the
face
thing.
and
It's like
stuff.
Caroline,
And
she gets the spot off, and then meanwhile, it was just like,
well, but the thing was, so it's like she didn't use the water a lot. And then, um, you can't see yourself. And so
yeah,
I would be like, Sue, let me help you get this off. And it's like caked on because she's not washing
yeah.
as much. And then you're like rubbing her face and she's like, okay, okay, just stop. Like it's
Oh
fine.
my gosh.
And so at some point you just kind of
Yeah.
give up because it's like, you don't want me touching you. So I'm not going
Mm.
to go out of my way but I didn't remember it being so bad,
No,
honestly. In real life, it didn't feel, everyone was dirty, so it didn't feel
I know.
that bad, but it's pretty bad.
It's
I'm
funny.
sorry, Sue.
It's funny. I tell my girlfriend, like, I want to get on just to lose the weight. I'm trying to lose the 10
I
pounds
mean, you can go
forever.
on a fast.
Yeah.
Also, it's like probably the least healthy way to ever lose weight.
I
I
know.
gained it all back in like 2 weeks. So, yeah. Then you just binge eat for
Are,
ever
are,
because
are you still, is there a connection? Like, okay, real quick, at the final tribal, did you feel, and maybe just the way they edited, did you feel that Sam was going to win?
I feared that yeah, I mean, that's when the rubber meets the road, right?
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I came into Final Tribal knowing that I was the front runner and being very hyper aware of the fact that women who take too much credit or try to be too strong in like when arguing or defending themselves
Right.
often are perceived negatively. And so I was
Um,
doing my best to deflect without attacking
mhm.
because I didn't feel like I had to. I felt like my game spoke for itself. And I
Right.
did not want to dig a hole by trying to kind of like, in a way, I was trying to act like anything Sam lobbed at me, like I wasn't worried about it. And if I
Hmm.
acted less like I cared to defend it,
Right.
I would embody that more, right? Like I would show that I like felt my game stood for itself instead of like I was worried if I got absorbed in the little things that people would be
Hmm.
like, she's like doubt, like did she do good enough? And so
Yeah.
that was like a big reason for why I was definitely like more reserved.
Hmm.
And then I mean they do cut bits and pieces. There was like a part
Right.
where um, he kind of lobbed at me that he was like a big enough threat that everyone tried to get him out and he couldn't get out. They couldn't get him out, and I was
Right.
like, but could have. I had the choice between you and Andy, and I chose Andy because I was more worried about him. And so like I think that there were points that I got back that weren't shown,
Yeah.
but in general, yeah, I was worried. He had a
Hmm.
very strong final tribal, and I still maintain that it was stronger than mine.
Yeah.
But that's not what that like hour and a half is not what the jury is basing the
For
decision off of,
sure.
right?
For sure.
And so, at least not entirely.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, I was very scared because I knew he did well and he just talked so loud, Like I just remember being like, he's so loud. Like they would ask a question and he would be answering and you're trying to listen to what they're saying so you can retort, but
Yeah.
also think about what you also want to say. So and it's
Hmm.
the end of this month-long starvation,
Yeah. For
exhaustion.
sure.
So it's like a
Oh
big
my God.
mental thing to be
Yeah.
navigating.
Hmm.
But yeah, I was nervous
Hmm.
because I knew that in that moment that would be when I actually knew if I had, I believed I
Yeah.
was had what it took to win, and I believed I was the front runner. But you don't actually know that. You don't get
Yeah.
to talk to any of them. So, sorry, Eva.
That's right.
Uh,
Well, yeah, because like I told my girl, I say, oh, I'm going to interview Rachel. She's the winner. Like, so we're watching other night into the final. She's like, oh my gosh, who's going to win? I'm like, she's like so nervous. Like, but remember I told you she already won. But because it's so
that's funny. That's
intense.
funny. She knew going in, and she was
Yeah.
still.
Well, that are you friends with anyone still? I mean, I'm sure there's a bond for life, like to some degree. Like, hey, wow, we went through some shit, or is it like
Yeah.
I lived my life, it was fun and cool, or do you feel like, hey, this is a really good person that I still connect with?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, look, I I'm so lucky to, I'm so sorry. Hold on.
Oh, sure.
She's barking at her reflection. This
That's
is
fine.
the worst part because it's not going to go away because it's just her reflection in the mirror.
Okay.
Okay. Um,
That's right. Ice.
we,
Hmm.
perfect.
Yeah.
Uh, and I got so lucky
Hmm.
that so many people on 47 saw Survivor as a game and what happened out on the island,
Hmm.
not stayed out on the island, but people didn't come home with a ton of resentment or
Right.
bitterness. And the people that had those feelings spoke about them to one another and
Hmm.
had the hard conversations that they needed to have to say, like, why did you do this? I have to
Right.
understand this. Like, that was hurtful. I
Hmm.
trusted you. And look, a lot of casts don't do that. It takes a lot of emotional maturity and
Hmm.
desire to like mend and not just run away
Right.
from the conflict. And we just were very lucky to have a cast that really wanted to do that.
Hmm.
And so yeah, a lot of them are, I'm very close to them.
Nice.
And I mean, Genevieve and Sam are probably my two best friends from the
Nice.
game.
Awesome.
But the entire journey,
Hmm.
sorry, the entire jury
Yeah.
and Annika and Asia,
Hmm.
like we are all close. Have
Nice.
plans with most of them in the next couple
Cool.
months. Like,
I love that.
so
Nice. Mm.
it's truly a so cool. I mean, like, I'm 35. You don't meet 10 new people that you want to be really close
Right.
to all
Yeah.
the time. It's just not
Absolutely.
something that
Yeah.
happens.
Hmm.
And to me, it reminds me a lot of kind of college where you have this kind of crazy, you live together in the
Hmm.
dorms and you go to class and you have this like experience that
Yeah.
no one else can describe. And
Hmm.
it sort of feels that way
Yeah.
with a lot of these
Hmm.
people. And it does feel like I've known all of them. It's crazy that I've known them for like less than 2 years.
Yeah.
It feels like I've known most of them for
Right.
five.
Because it's so new. I mean, like when I'm on a movie, you get like 4 weeks prep, a 6 week shoot, and I'm thrust into 150 people, and I'm pretty much a boss to some degree. And I forge relationships. And these are people, again, like, because, you're all creative, you're all coming together, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, you're like my bestie. All of a sudden, and you're
Mm-hmm.
telling them stuff that you wouldn't tell somebody else. I don't know why, it just does.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure it's the same
Because
way.
it's
And it's,
so much time. I'm sure it's
yes.
very similar. It's like
Mhm.
you meet someone at, you meet a new friend, however you
Sure.
meet them,
Right.
and you get coffee with them once a month or every 2 weeks or even every week for an hour.
Yeah.
That's 4 hours a month. That's 48 hours a year. That's 2 days on Survivor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I did 26 days with Sam.
Yeah,
Like it's
exactly.
it's just like it would take, 6 years to
Yeah.
have one coffee a week in the hours we spent together on Survivor in a month, less than a month. So
Yeah.
it's this pressure cooker
Yeah.
of relationships. And, of course, there's people that like we're all on good terms, but there's people that I'm
Nice.
like, yeah, we just don't have that much in common,
Yeah,
actually. We don't talk that often. There's
exactly.
no bad blood. I love to see you, but
Yeah.
we don't like chat all the time. And there's people
Yeah.
that I talk
Mhm.
to twice a day on the phone every day.
Nice.
It's just
Yeah.
so it's really, really special. And it's one of the things that I really wanted
Hmm.
from the Survivor experience
Yeah.
and thought might happen, and just very blessed to have that be true.
I love it. So when do you watch the show now and do you have a different idea of like, okay, you can kind of tell you've been there, so you really know what's going on, but do you have this feeling? Because right now, watching the older ones, the old era compared to now, it's like, all right, well, it's the 26 days, and people say, oh, it's not as hard, blah, blah. You just feed, it's great, but it's still hard. I mean, it's still difficult. That's not
Yeah.
easy. Like I said, I stand outside for 5 minutes and I'm like, I'm going back in. It's cold. So I don't discount any of that. And I think like anything, there has to be a change, but do you watch it differently, in that sense?
Yeah. I mean, without being too like uh hyperbolic, like it completely changes your relationship with the show.
Hmm.
And in many ways that's good, in many ways it's bad.
Right.
And in many ways it's not good or bad. It's just
Hmm.
different, and I think that I I think right now I'm still in a phase where I'm a little bit oversaturated by Survivor.
Right.
And I'm the person that prior to playing was listening to 6 to 8 hours of Survivor podcasts a week and watching everything and reading every Reddit thread and,
Yeah.
like
Mm.
very into the show.
Hmm.
And now I watch the episodes on Wednesday nights and that's about it,
Yeah.
and that's okay because that's
Hmm.
all that is really fun for me right
For
now.
sure.
But I think that one of the things you really learn when you play is that you don't get the full story and it's just not possible, right?
Hmm.
People know that intellectually. You're watching
Yes.
72 hours take place over the course of an hour.
For
Like, you're
sure.
never going to
Yeah.
get the full context of things.
Hmm.
And on top of that, the show is intentionally obscuring things to blindside the viewer, to like tell the narrative in a way that
Oh
makes more
yeah.
sense than maybe it happened naturally.
Yeah.
Like, and so once you've been through that experience and you've seen those things and you've
Hmm.
seen people that you care about that are amazing, incredible people being reduced to 2D people on
Yeah.
TV, I think that it just gives you a
Hmm.
little bit of a different taste for everything. And you look at everything a little bit more skeptically.
Right.
And a lot of times, the survivor community is very thick. So it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I've met this person or that person, and I
Right. Yeah.
know that, like, that's not their personality, or and so it's
Mm.
tough. It's tough
Mm.
where, like, you're watching someone you care about in a low moment and you're like, I don't, like, that doesn't feel good anymore. It used to be
Hmm.
really entertaining and now it feels personal and now it feels
Yeah.
like heavier.
Hmm.
And so it's not necessarily a bad thing. I really, like, I want to revisit this specific question for myself in, like,
Hmm.
another year or two, because I also can't tell what is, like I said, just the kind of fatigue and oversaturation of
Right.
Survivor versus
Hmm.
post Survivor experience. And
Yeah.
I think in another, like, maybe 51, 52, like the cycle that will happen
Yeah.
like next year.
Yeah.
Um, I'm curious to see how that lands and sits with me and if I'll
Mm.
return to being kind of more of a fan. Because even like 50's starting next month, Genevieve's on that season.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. For sure.
how could I
Right.
ever watch that objectively? How
Yeah.
could I
For sure.
ever,
Hmm.
it's just your emotional investment is so different.
Right.
On so many levels.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's definitely different. It's
Hmm.
pivotally different. And it's
It's
one
the
of the
same thing.
things that people reach out and they're like,
Yeah.
I want to be on Survivor so bad. I'm the biggest fan ever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, just know that there's people that were huge fans that went on Survivor and never watched Survivor again.
Yeah.
Like, it's not always
It's not.
rainbows and
It's
roses.
it's like in production. Whenever I watch a movie and I can tell people like, oh, well, there's the boom, there's the camera. They're gonna do a dolly shot, and I pick it apart because I know it. Or it's funny, like if I watch a movie like right now, and I know there's a big emotional scene, like I said, there's 30 of us standing right there watching that, so it's just like So sometimes I have to kind of like take off that blinder and just watch something and enjoy it. But I'm always
Hmm.
constantly, oh, that doesn't match this continuity. But that's what makes it
Hmm.
fun. And also doing this reality, which I've done before. When I first started, I understand how. Again, you're trying to condense everything. The story might be greater, but I got to make this, or I got to make this person. This is the storyline this week, or whatever it is. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's just the way it is. And
Hmm.
once you accept it, say, okay, that's it. And I can't wait till when I'm on 51 or 52, and it's just like I'm going with the flow, you guys. Um, I was going to ask you because I really don't want to take up too much time because you're so awesome, and I love talking to you. There was something about when you. Oh, here's a question, and you don't tell me because now we're watching it when you guys do the tribal not live anymore. How he jet set to wherever in New York. It's right then and there. You're done. Like boom.
Hmm.
How far is that from when you get home? And then with that being said, I'm sure there's like, hey, it hasn't aired yet. You can't cash your check or go do anything. How long do you have to come home and still wait until that
Oh, yeah.
window?
So we got home, 47 got home in June. And then we aired September through December. So we
Mm,
waited July, August, three
right.
months or so.
Okay.
And then they film back to back. So
Right.
48, which is our sister season,
Hmm.
as they call it, same cycle. They left in June and got home in July. And then they waited till February. So they waited
Hmm.
like 6 months, or
Right.
7 months, whatever that math is.
Hmm.
Uh, and You're not allowed to tell anybody you played until
Right.
it is announced by CBS officially, and they
Right.
don't pay you until the finale, after the finale of your season is over.
That's what I thought. 'Cause I
So
like, hey, well, all of a sudden she's got a Ferrari in Detroit.
that
What's
is your
going on?
incentive
Yeah,
to
that's
shut your
smart.
mouth
That's
because
smart. Yeah.
they can just not pay you out if you break your NDA.
I think that's smart. And listen, and that's important. And that's what I think people have to understand. It is a working machine for CBS. It's a system. They have to do it the right way. And there's some integrity you have to keep and all these things.
Mhm.
Like we all get it. And also today, when people are on and they're on the show and they, oh my, I got blinds. It's like, okay, but you knew going into it's 40, 50 seasons now. We've all
Mhm.
figured out you're going to get blindsided. You're going to have to lie. Yes, we can all have integrity. We can all be good people, but you're going to have to lie step to some degree.
Mhm.
Sure, you can probably try to play the most honest game that you can, but it's going to bite you in the butt somehow. And that's just, you got to go into it. I don't know.
Mhm.
Everyone's still so surprised
I think
sometimes.
well, I think it's a 50-50 on the people that are playing into that to spin a narrative about themselves
Mm, yeah.
as gameplay.
Hmm.
Not that I'm saying that's an effective thing, but I think that I think a lot of times people are doing it the same way that a lot of times you hear, well, this person's weak. They're not helping us physically, so they're going home. It's almost never that. It's usually something else. But what's easier to show?
Right.
Um, Somebody not socially connecting with somebody else
Hmm.
and them like that's pretty hard to get across on TV
Yeah.
when it's that and then the person is also coming up with more reasons why they want them gone, including they don't help out much in challenges. And
Yeah.
like that becomes the narrative, even if
Right.
it's that and, right?
Yeah.
And so I think I think the honesty thing is similar where like a lot of times, and this happens all over the board on a
Hmm.
lot of votes. And I think it's hard for the audience who hasn't played to understand that a lot of times people are saying things they don't actually believe, but think
Yeah.
will get other people to vote with them, you
Yes.
know? And
Yes.
so
Yeah.
they're saying the thing they think the other person wants to hear,
Yeah.
not the thing they actually think.
Yes. Yes.
And that also does not come across clearly. And they have no
Yeah.
incentive to go through the intricacies of that, you know,
Yeah.
to it just makes it
Mm,
confusing.
mm,
And so I think the honesty thing often falls in that bucket. And then
mm.
the other half of it is I think a lot of people just it's a little bit of a lack of self-awareness
Yeah.
to believe that you played an honest and loyal survivor
Mm,
game. Because in
yeah.
some ways, and maybe loyal is probably a easier hook to hang your hat on than
Hmm.
honest because everyone lies. And like the
Right.
second that you say that in front of the jury and you say like
Right.
I didn't lie in this game, there's gonna be
Yeah.
multiple people that are like you lied to my face, and then the answer is always like, well, yeah, because I was being loyal to this person. And it's like that doesn't matter. You can't make a blanket statement about not
Yeah.
lying if you lied. And so it's just I think people just frame it wrong
Hmm.
because they believe that they are honest and they are
Yeah.
doing like I'm an honest person in real life and I was an
Right.
honest person out here and that's my story. And it's a lack of like actually looking at what happened and
Uh,
how to spin it in the best way. And I
well,
think it's just yeah.
well, I love it. Like even when you were crawling on your stomach in the dark and you're overhearing them, and you brought it up, and they're like, "Well, no, no, we." I don't even say I'm like, "No, we were just doing." And then Teeny's only like, "Well, I mean, she's the only one that kind of owned up to it." And I think it's so funny. Like, well, I caught you guys. I was listening to the whole conversation.
Yeah. And I mean, I think you just yeah. I think you have to own those things. You know, I think that the right players will see it as good gameplay
Hmm.
and anyone that's mad about it is going to be mad about it no
Yeah.
matter how you spin it. So,
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Well, listen, I want to thank you. This has been so absolutely incredible.
It's been very
Um,
fun.
so what I want to do is I want to definitely, plug the game or anything that you want me to put in the links or what have you,
Oh,
or do a
sure.
shout out. Is there anything that you want to say? Anything else?
Yeah, I mean, check out my game, Puzzle Hungry Umami Rush. You can go to playresolve.com, like RESOLVE, Play Resolve, and check out the game there. You can pre-order it. We are in
Hmm.
manufacturing on time, so
Okay.
yeah, all the details are there. And sign up for emails because then we're already cooking up other stuff and you'll get to
Nice.
hear about it. And you can follow me on Instagram at Rachel A. Lamont. Other than that, that's kind of it. Oh, if you want a cameo, hit me up. I love to do
Cool.
them.
You got that, and then Derek, your husband, he's a designer. He's an
Yes.
artist as
Yeah,
well.
he's an art director. He
Okay,
works in advertising
nice,
in Metro Detroit. So if
cool.
you want a new art director and want to pay him a lot of money, please hit me up.
Um, well, this is fantastic. So, please, everybody, season 47, Survivor. Rachel tied the record for the most wins by a female. She's one of four that's done that. She had everything: shot in the dark, advantage, idols. She was literally the puzzle master. I've never seen anyone put so many amazing puzzles together, and just everything. Your will, and even on that rocking thing with the, oh my god, that was incredible. And again, there's moments, and I never lie. There's always something in every episode I tear up. My girlfriend's like, "You're the most emotional guy." I'm like, but I care because I just feel it, and I really did cry, even though
Yeah.
I had seen it. At that moment, you can just see everything
Hmm.
go through you, and it's such a beautiful because it's raw, because it's
Hmm.
real, and that's what I love
Yeah.
about it, and that's what I
I mean, that was
appreciate.
the moment
Yeah.
that I believed I was going to win. Like
Hmm.
that in that was captured,
Yeah.
which is crazy when you think about it. Like having those kind of like pivotal. It's such a pivotal life moment
Right.
um, to have in 4K. For the world to see.
Yeah.
So
Your
it's
life
pretty
is
cool. It's
there.
pretty cool. Yeah.
Rachel, thank you. This is such a pleasure. I mean, I'm really honored, and I mean, I'm humbled
Thank
and I'm
you. I
honored. I appreciate
appreciate
your
it
time.
and excited that you reached out. Thanks.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Until the next time, this is your host, Michael. Who knows who's going to be here? And everyone have a great week. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.
Bye.
Okay, so let me just.